Ex-prisoners of Reddit. Is prison represented in movies/TV shows accurately? My stay was several months in jail, not prison, but what I found really amusing was that the biggest baddest dude on my cell block ran a D&D game twice a week. Wait, what's the difference between jail and prison? Not a native speaker. Haven't been to either, but jail is for a short period of time, while prison is for longer period. Jail is run by local government bodies, while prison is run by the state government. The inmates in jail are for minor crimes, while the inmates in prison are for major felonies. Also, some inmates in jail are awaiting trial and have not yet been proven guilty. Boring, boring, boring. Every day just like the last. There were fights, but they weren't what you see in 3 movies. Don't disrespect people inside, and you won't get beaten up outside. Not even close. They never show the Dementors. Ah, I see you're a man of culture as well. And which house are you sorted into? What do they fed you, Prison Mike? And the weather's abysmal, I heard. For people who really want to know about this, you should totally check out the podcast Ear Hustle, the daily realities of life inside prison, shared by those living it, and stories from the outside, post-incarceration. The co-hosts are one woman who is a long-time volunteer at San Quentin and a guy, Elon Woods, who is a prisoner there. It's absolutely fascinating from start to finish. They are on a break right now, but coming back in June. Every single episode is fascinating, and it's the realities of prison. They are constantly talking about misconceptions from movies and TV and stuff. Thanks for the recommendation. While I like that podcast, they constantly remind you that San Quentin is not like other prisons, as it offers many more programs and people actually want to be transferred there. Everything tastes better out of an Ear Hustle mug though. Only correct representation I saw was from Prison Mike. Yeah, got a good life. Yeah, got a good life. Thanks for the insight. Giant_bird_penis. Can't imagine having Dementors and lots of grill in one place. I've heard that Hollywood always seems to forget the prevalence of pillow fights and its impact on prison culture. The guards are worse than the prisoners. Stanford prison experiment should pique your curiosity. I don't speak a lick of French. It was kind of flawed. I can certainly understand how authority can get to some people. But the person who ran the experiment actively encouraged the guards to act tough. One of the inmate breakdowns was a guy faking it, so he can get out of the experiment, because he had to study for an exam or something. I was learning about that around the time I was arrested. The time people spend in authority roles should be limited. The sangria was not as promised. You want some millet? I made it in the toilet. You can never let your emotions show there. I was sexually assaulted by the doctor my second day. I feel like it was pretty accurate. Do you mind more details? Sorry to hear that happened to you. What kind of details could you possibly need? Like a play-by-play? Yeah. Okay. It's all splitting, wigs and busting cheeks. The worst thing about prison was the Dementors. Oz yes. Orange is the new black no. When my brother was in jail, he said it was just boring. But he would steal other people's food. Jailhouse thieves, don't be that. Yeah. I actually knew the kid he'd steal from too. I felt awful for him. Not like OITNB. Source cousin. On my first day, locked up, I escaped via a zipline the warden installed on the roof of the prison. So Tango and Cash was very realistic. So if was to send a care package, what would be in it? There are different levels of prison. Check out Shaun Atwood on YouTube if you want to find out how the prison life in the maximum security prison can be even worse than the STV shows lead you on. No, it is not. Prison is 75% mentally ill people, not bank robbers and rapists. Someone posted this years ago, but I think it might be fake. My dad was in jail for a little under a year. I think this was about 7 to 8 years ago, and my memory is awful. It was a small time place in a town where everyone knew each other. Not relevant, but I thought it was hilarious that it was across the road from the primary school I went to. Anyway, the prisoners were allowed to request an item or two every now and then, and my dad told me that they got really creative when cooking. For example, that's how I found out that you can bake a cake in a rice cooker. Why don't you ask my friend, Prison Mike? Is the prison wallet really a thing?